Well, good day, everybody. Welcome to Alchemy Within from Out Amongst the Stars. And it's Gail Ward and I here. Gail's from Relax and Shine, and she does the oracle readings, works with the divination tool of the oracle cards, and offers some very intuitive insights as well. So we will have all her information below and offerings for what's to come. But we are here today to have our full moon in Aries collective gathering. And we're just going to give you some information on that particular moon that's coming up here tomorrow, September 29th. Now it's here at 3:57 Mountain Standard Time, which would be 5:57 Eastern, and everybody can do the translation. Gail, welcome. And for everyone in the UK, what time is that?
Oh, I'm trying to add on the hours. So will it be about 10 p.m., do you think?
Just before 11, I think, right?
Oh, 11.
Yeah, just before 11 p.m. Yeah, UTC in the UK. Yeah.
So great to be with you. Thank you so much for the invitation and the collaboration. And I look forward to hearing all about what you have to share with this equinox. With the full moon
in Aries. Yeah, in Aries. Yeah, the fiery Aries at 6 degrees. And so anybody who has that 6 degrees, in cardinal signs or in Aries, they'll be a lot more affected by this for sure. So what I'm going to do is I am going to share my screen so that we can actually look at the chart while we're talking about it. And we'll see what comes up. So can everybody see that? You got it? Is it up on your end there, Gail?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's clear. I can see this, the natal chart, the chart, not the natal chart. I can see the circle, and then you can explain what that means.
Yes, and I set it up actually kind of as a natal chart. I set it up as a whole sign current chart so that in the middle here is the 29th at the time of our full moon. So you see 6 degrees sun in opposition to 6 degree moon. So that's a full moon. So, and the moon is in Aries. So that's why it's a full moon in Aries. But the full moon always has the sun 180 degrees opposite of it. And it's illuminating the Libra axis with this one. Now, because also we have this eclipse coming up October 14th, although we're not going to really talk about that. That'll be our next gathering. I just put the transit as October 14th. And just so that people can see on the outside of this are where all the planets are, the planets in green. They'll be shifted to these places October 14th, and that'll be on our you'll see here the moon and the sun are together. It'll be that new moon, but it's also an eclipse with the node there. So I just put that on the outside so we can reference that if needed, but we may just have enough time to cover the Aries full moon at 6 degrees. And that'll be, yes, in the middle of the night over here, and later in the evening on Friday, the 29th of September. And so with that, Aries, of course, is the initiating cardinal energy. And it's the one that often likes to start things, but it's also very much about self. Like it's the I am energy of self, and the opposing Libra is the other. So Aries is the me and Libra is the we. But with this particular full moon, it's obviously going to bring some sort of culmination point. It's a closing, typically an ending, and it's fiery emotion in Aries. So it's going to illuminate that particular house for everybody. So look where your Aries and Libra axis is, and can often bring some clarity. And the interesting part about this particular moon is, well, actually, we had the new moon, and if there's dates you want to refer back to, they're like the 21st of March at 0 degrees, and then we had another new moon, a hybrid solar one, on the 19th of April at 29 degrees, right at the very end degrees. It was kind of interesting because we had the two new moons in Aries in the spring. So it's like looking back at what seeds were planted in that time frame, like in the spring. And of course, we went through this whole summer of a Venus retrograde and looking at our values, and another thing you can actually think back to is when the nodes of the moon, because the nodes are also in these axes, which makes it really interesting. And the last time the nodes were in these particular houses in this way, not reversed, was in 2005 to 2006. So there may be some same themes that come up in this particular next 18 months too, that we see that we're the same as back then. That's another date to refer back to. And so it is a cardinal fire sign and the first sign of the zodiac, and it brings some, that Aries is ruled by Mars. So Mars is that initiating energy. It's like the willpower to take really bold action. And so whatever it is that the seeds were planted for in the new moon, it could be like now is sort of where things are a little bit coming together. But we have to be careful that whatever we did plant and we want to come together, that we're not like pushing things through and plowing and being too bold with all of our efforts of all the things that we want to come through. So we just want to make sure that you aren't just like, I want to push through all my fear, my worry that I might have, that this thing needs to happen right now, because we also have to look at what our long-term decisions are. We also have to consider the other with that Libra axis in there too, right? So so we might be, I guess, at a choice point between, and the choice point is in general in the collective, in our world right now, is, do you want to approach our new world and everybody coming from I guess rising up in consciousness and all of these changes that are happening really quickly? Do you want to approach it from fear or from love? Because anybody that feels like they want to hang on to the old may feel a lot of fears come up, but we are just stepping into a whole bunch of new, especially with as we see here, this Pluto, it's actually going to be the first one that actually goes forward out of the outer planets here, because there was that time in September that we had the Venus and Mercury, the inner planets, in retrograde. The only one that wasn't was Mars. The sun and the moon don't go retrograde. And then all the other planets, as well as Chiron, have all been retrograde. Like everything was in retrograde motion, right? So there's been a lot of sort of reflecting and going back in inner energy with that. So as we kind of move forward now, we have our Venus, it's just going to be coming out of shadow, and so is our Mercury just coming out of shadow. So it's just coming out of those degrees that it hit before. And so we'll be going into new territory and new degrees of our Venus and our Mercury. And then Pluto is just essentially, it's just sitting stationary right around this, a 27, 28 degree mark. It's not moving too much at this point. So Pluto's our transformation. And when it goes forward, it's going forward and it's going into Aquarius, and we'll be in Aquarius for our 20 years to follow, besides one little dip next fall. So that's why I'm saying we're stepping into a real transformational new energy, because Capricorn is structure and big business, big corporate governments, institutes, and Aquarius is collective, community, individual, grassroots. It's not the hierarchy, it's the ground up and coming together as our individuals. So this Aries energy is kind of I guess what we planted back then might be sort of that urge now we're going to feel to move into this new life that we feel is coming, we know is coming in, as our Pluto shifts into Aquarius as well. And there is no aspect there. The aspect that's really affecting this particular full moon is the fact that the Mars is the dispositor, meaning like Mars rules Aries, and it's essentially so our Mars energy is essentially down here in Libra, conjunct the South Node, and so that's a huge part of this full moon. And so there's that consideration of like wherever your Libra house is, and what you might be leaving behind in that particular part of your life, whether it be or the house that it rules. Like it could be even your belief systems, it could be a move, it could be a change in your career, it could be a change in your personal appearance even, but it's sort of like there's this initiating energy to let go of something without South Node, or all those things that you kind of brought into this lifetime. There might be some of them that are kind of falling away because they just don't resonate anymore. They might not be what's going to serve you best in this new life forward. So there's going to be these triggers of this Mars energy, and Mars of course is considered in detriment, so it's not as pushy in Libra. It's a lot more diplomatic and a lot more balanced. But the moon of course is in its home sign. So but it may and that's the individual, the warrior, the charging forward, the one that wants to compete and maybe be conflictive and has a lot of drive and might have that fight in them. So we have to be careful of those energies as we move through these next few days, that you're not wanting to fight just for the sake of a fight, to take those deep breaths and be more of that observer and considerate of the others, and or take too much of an action towards something. But then there's this other aspect that's a very interesting dynamic as well, and that's this third square of Uranus, which is here at 22 degrees, and it's the Uranus Jupiter is coming together, but the Uranus Venus square that I wanted to refer to. So that Uranus at 22 degrees, the Venus at 22 degrees, that actually had 3 passes. And it was very much involved in the Venus retrograde. And of course, Uranus is that sudden lightning bolt, revolutionary, liberating, like change maker, the one that might just come in and suddenly shake things up. And it's unexpected and it's out of the box, and it's all the the higher octave of Mercury, the higher mind, the higher wisdom. There might be illuminations of of downloads of information or something you do want to take action on, but you just have to be careful to sort of allow some more Libra energy involved there with finding a little bit of balance and not like being too aggressive or assertive instantly to take action on something and allow that Uranus. So to, I guess dissipate a little bit. Yeah, so the first pass, if anybody wants to go back and look in there, if they have a diary, they've been keeping track. The first pass of this Venus in Leo squaring Uranus in Taurus was on July 2nd. And then we had another activation of that on August 9th. And the other one is just a few hours after this full moon in Aries on September 29th. So it's very involved, and this square can bring up emotions and tension and feelings of frustration, and that, you want to do something different and you want more freedom and you want more independence. And because, that energy of Uranus is connected, that same one as Aquarius, and want to break free of whatever it is that's been kind of like lingering. And this desire of, transformation is there for the change all your life circumstance. And Uranus can do that. They can do it in an instant. And so allowing yourself to flow, like rather than fearing it, you have to allow some time and space in your calendar, in your day, to allow yourself to breathe, allow yourself to just, take some time if something does come up. And know that, when Uranus is involved, that's the truth just suddenly coming to light. And it may be surprising and shocking, and you might have been confused about something, and something all of a sudden comes clear, like in an instant. So yeah, it's allowing us to take that break. It's kind of an extreme energy, and with the Mars energy, or the Aries energy, they're ruled by Mars too. It just might be a little bit intense for sure with this full moon. So may shake some things up, may root some things up, may end some things abruptly. But just know that those endings or those changes or those conclusions or completions are what is meant to be for this full super moon. And then it may make you feel liberated and freer, and get things back into alignment for you as well. And allow what comes in. And our eclipses in the opposite axis, like these axes of Aries and Libra, are so highlighted over the next little while. So, looking at where that is in your chart and the house system that or the house it sits in is also really important for the themes. Yeah, so that's the basis of it. And so do you have any questions or any comments you want to add, Gail? Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
Oh yeah, thank you. I just wanted to make sure there's no background noise while you were giving that. So I'm still fascinated, just the sharing, you're an expert in the transits. That's what I'm beginning to notice, that you see those nudges of the, the crosses and the trines and all the things that I am still coming to terms with understanding.
Yes, and I'm expert, absolutely not. But I am learning, and I go out and I'm getting tidbits. Being my Gemini self, I go out and getting all the little tidbits, and bringing back what I find out and what resonates with me, and what kind of makes sense of what this might feel like. And then what I like to do is then follow up with people and love to hear their story of what did happen for you at that time. So like I'm really starting to track all of that in my life. And so I had a change during that time as well. So in my day-to-day. So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, you had a massive career change, didn't you? And I'm beginning to see, just from your explanation, I'm beginning to think back and reflect, and even when you said earlier on about, you know, what were the seeds that you were sowing back in April, you know, I'd kind of forgotten that, like, that is a complete sort of opposite mirror of where we are now. And so it's fascinating me, because, you know, things are coming to fruition now.
Yeah.
Things that I was trying to force things a little bit in April. When I think about it, it wasn't really flowing. And it makes so much sense now why, you know. And I understand that full moons, am I right in saying, are like completions of cycles as well? You know, it's like
they are, yes.
It's the full moon cycle for this, you know, full moon, this 28 days or whatever it is. This cycle is coming to a completion, but understanding all the lines and seeing how everything's interrelated, it's not linear. There's so many other dimensions of it, isn't there, to be looking at. And it blows my mind. So I'm not going to say too much more, because it's a learning, and I'm really appreciating the sharing that you're bringing, and simplifying it as well in many ways. For, you know, there's a lot of us in this group that are new to astrology, and, you know, overwhelmed, I think, by the terminology. So the fact that you can break it down and bring us into this gently, I think is wonderful. Yeah, and people can take what they want from it and leave the rest if they, you know, want to keep it really simple, or if, you know, obviously when as you're giving readings to people, and people, if, you know, just to let you know, I think in the notes, Diana will have her link there, so you can have an email reading to give you an overview of the basics, and then also with anything more complex, I'm sure, you know, you're expanding that too, aren't you? As I know you.
Yeah, open to that too. Yeah, but the quick little email reading, it's not you know, it's just kind of going over your archetypes. If you're just like, I just need to wrap my head around my sun, moon, and rising, and maybe if you had a stellium, or maybe where, like, what do the houses mean where my Aries and Libra are, just something very basic that I don't need to know a bunch of information about you. I could just email the general specifics, and that's just a donation you know, based reading. If we get into a full reading, then that's I bring the coaching into that too sometimes. And so yeah, it's kind of a hand in hand thing. So that's a little bit different, but yeah, our contact will be below, and Gail will have an offering too, with a donation based card reading to bring in the energy of what oracle might be showing up for you in this Aries new moon. So with that said, do you want to start with your part of it in pulling us a card for the collective for this Aries new moon, Gail?
Yes, do you feel like, is there anything else? I interrupted you a little bit. I just wonder if, is there anything else you need to complete with before I do that? What would you say?
Yeah, no, I think that you know, we covered it. There isn't a I guess there isn't a ton of other aspects that we need to talk about right now for this, because we have this Uranus Venus square, and so Venus is about, you know, love and beauty and what we value, and our um you know, anything that's sort of aesthetic, and what we desire, our pleasures, that sort of thing. It's all of those things that we really want, and Uranus is coming in to, you know, shake that up again. Like, you may have seen the themes, like I mentioned, on those particular dates. And so that's kind of unpredictable, like, as far as, you know, how it's going to work out for everyone. So it's very, yeah, it'll be very unique to you. And and just know that if you're like, oh my gosh, what's happening, like, what in the world is going on right now, um I like, where did this all come from out of nowhere? It's very, it's very possible that it's just a very fated event. And then, of course, going into our new moon with the nodes here, which is an eclipse. Eclipses are very fated. They are absolutely, all of those things that are meant to come about will come about, and they'll be, you know, bringing in whatever it is that needs to change in this time for you. So you know, this next couple of weeks will definitely, it might feel like, oh my gosh, what's all happening? But yet, you know, it's not the actual, like, it might be just the start of feeling that change, and allowing yourself some time and flexibility to take some deep breaths around whatever it is that is being shook up for you, for sure. Might feel like the time is going by really quickly. So, yeah,
Yes,
one of my
yeah.
teachers was talking about that. Yeah, that we might feel like time is just like flying, and and all of a sudden you're just like, what is happening? Like, it just might feel like really, really intense. And then therefore, because it's intense and this energy is so jarring, it does jar people's emotions, right? So you just have to be careful that you take those breaths and put yourself in the observer position to sort of take what's going on, and allow yourself to let the, you know, let the energy sort of dissipate and respond rather than react. And yeah, that's kind of the, yeah, that's kind of the I guess the remedy, the remedy for the Aries energy is just to watch your, yeah, watch your, you know, where the disagreements are, and watch how bossy you want to be, and, you know, and try not to like evoke those arguments or um any of the disputes or disagreements that might want to come in, because there's some things that are changing, or um you know, the lightning bolt has struck and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's happening, and you just don't know. It's just, you know, a lot of anxiousness coming up. So yeah, so that's happening with that. And then we will yeah, we'll see what happens coming up then in 2 weeks from now, when we also have this eclipse. So just setting up for that too. It might be a little prelude to that. Yeah.
That's so interesting. I'm so fascinated by it all right now. You know, there's so much to learn, isn't there, as well? It's like, wow.
Never ending. Yeah, for sure.
So,
It's all learning for me too. So that's why I
yeah.
love like connecting with people and then finding out what it is that they are feeling in these particular energies in their own lives and how they're expressing. Yeah, it's interesting to see how it actually comes about. So sometimes I'm talking to people and I'm like, yeah, well, you know what? Like, we're in this particular um energy right now. So if you thought about like having that change and you were kind of reviewing it over the summer, now is likely the time. Now is likely the time to let it happen. Hmm. And move forward
Absolutely.
with it. Yeah. Yeah. So what card deck are you going to use for us today,
So
Gail?
today, I absolutely love this oracle. I don't know if you can see,
Oh yeah,
it's
Gaia.
the Gaia Oracle by Tony Carmine Salerno. I think that's how you say his name.
Hmm.
And so this was just the deck that I would take out into nature, and I would do my oracles out in the, you know, in this sacred place down Menacodl. It's just a local sacred waterfall. And so I just feel like, you know, really earthed and connected when I was out there doing these readings. And this just dropped in again today. A full moon, like linked with a full moon, and yeah, and the guidance affirmations, and I've pulled this one and I'm rather impressed by the fact that we've got a full moon on the picture.
Oh yeah. Well, how about that?
And this one comes out quite often. You know, I do, you know, I'm familiar with this one. But it's just I don't know if you can see it. I don't know how good my
A
camera
little
is.
bit, yes. Oh, I can see the moon. Oh, that's gorgeous. That's yeah, we can't make that stuff up. It just happens.
So it's just so beautiful, and the, you know, the full moon reflecting on the ocean, and the message is moonlight. So I hope we get a really good evening. We can go out and actually look at, you know, look up and see the full moon this time. So yeah, the message wants to come through for the collective. This is kind of interesting, because how can everyone be going through this at the same time? This always amazes me. We can generalize, so it's quite interesting. The message is travel, romance, potential. And that message has come with the message romance is in the air. So
yes,
we all need romancing.
Absolutely. And our Libra energy of that south node, and so there might be some things about relationship that there might be you might be letting go of a belief system or something around relationship in order to welcome in a new one. It might be a completion of a relationship because there's one that's ending. There might be a welcoming of something of the we, and by just feeling that me energy and taking initiative to change something, or a change will come in order to get there, with this Uranus shakeup. It's all part of it, me and the we.
This is it's very Venusian, isn't it?
Yes, Venus rules Libra. Yes.
So the message is saying you will, I mean, that sounds very certain, you will soon travel to somewhere special. A romantic evening leads you to discover a source of untapped and virtually unlimited potential. That sounds amazing.
Wow, that sounds amazing. I'm in.
A simple yet inspirational idea comes to you and will have you look at life from a new perspective.
Exactly. There you go. That's the Uranus. Oh my gosh. Yes.
And through this, you will create something new, something that will be of lasting value.
Yeah. Value.
Isn't that interesting? Relax. It's asking you to relax, unwind, and enjoy this time. So, like the deep breath. Take it in.
Yes.
The reflective light of the moon fills your heart with love and reveals a deep well of untapped creative possibility.
Wow.
And
very nice.
That the affirmation that comes with that card is, I invite romance into my life. I look at things from a new perspective. My life is full of unlimited potential. Creative possibilities are all around me. Life is an endless source of inspiration.
Wow, what a perfect card for that.
That just is so interesting.
Yeah, wow. Thank you for that. That was like so spot on.
Isn't that beautiful what came through?
Oh yeah, now we can see it. Oh yeah, that's gorgeous.
I'm even matching the top. Like, this is serenity, synchronistic.
Totally synchronistic. Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you so much. That was like perfect match for the astrology. And that's energy, right? I mean, we're all energy. As above, so below, as within, so without. Like, that's the whole nature of, even though it's different tools that we use, it helps guide us. And I feel that guidance is really important right now for people, because our world seems so crazy, but it's supposed to be changing. It's supposed to be transforming. So we just need to take those breaths, allow our own inspirations of change and innovation, or however it is that's going to shake up our life to be different. And also go within and find out what you value and what you desire, and, let the real you be a part of the new life, right? So that's that's so important. Yeah.
Wonderful wisdom. And that, having these tools, the chart and the astrology and understanding the cosmos is like that. What's out there is within us. And it is, like you say, we are all interrelated, and it's so incredible, isn't it?
It is.
Connection.
Absolutely. I absolutely, yeah, I love that. People actually laugh at me at my game. I'm like, how are we connected? Oh, you live here? Oh, hey, I know some people that live there. And I'm always like trying to connect everybody, no matter who I meet. And yeah, people have started to say things to me and almost make fun of me because of it. I'm like, that's my game. It's my favorite game. I like to connect people. I'm a Gemini, Aquarius, rising, Sag moon. That's who I am. I'm good with it. It's a fun.
I'm so pleased that we met and we got to do this together again. And yeah, that
Yes.
connection is, you know,
Yeah.
we're growing, you know, we're that mycelium network, you know, it's incredible. It's, you know, we're reaching around the world and you can touch so many people.
Yes, this is us diving our Plutos into Aquarius. Into the collective into into the internet and into the technology. And I thank you so much for being here with me. And we're gonna reconnect again in a couple of weeks when we're having the eclipse. And and then we'll follow up to see what maybe some inspirational things or changes or different things came through for this Aries full moon. And so then we can tell a little story with that too, and see see what's going to come up.
If anyone's interested in coming in to, you know, having a Zoom, and we could even do you know, something with people with their questions, couldn't we? You know,
yeah, we could. Yeah, and we could do we could do a live too, so that people can interact. You know, we could attempt that too at some point too. So we'll we'll just plan now for our full moon and our new moon gatherings, and we'll work with the energies and expand on our abilities of technology and see where it all takes us. But yes, if you want to connect with Gail or myself, our information will be below this video. And I hope that everybody has a wonderful Aries full moon weekend, and that you got some value out of this to help navigate through it. So thank you very much for being here at Alchemy Within from Out Amongst the Stars, and Gail from Relax and Shine with us. I'm so grateful, and we will see you next time. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye.